Do you guys still have those, like, I remember being, as a, maybe a couple of years ago, I think it was maybe a decade ago, there was the killing of a young girl named Brisenia Flores, and her father, I think her father's name was Raul. And then she was killed on the border and turns out that she was an American citizen, but she was killed by militiamen. I can't remember what they called themselves, but they would Minutemen, exactly. Is that still an issue in Arizona? Do you still have Minutemen, or maybe they've rebranded, but are those kinds of groups still around?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. When you go down to the border, especially through more of the rural areas that are kind of open, there's Minutemen there. There's men that go every weekend, because they all get together as a group and they all go and they're protecting the border. And I don't, you hear stories through, some of the media around here and some of the, groups of human rights groups that are around, that they're there, and there's probably bodies in Arizona, in these areas that have been undocumented immigrants who've come over and they've killed them. So I don't know about that. I don't know that for sure. I mean, once in a while you'll hear a little story about, somebody was shot and must have been there for over a year or whatever. However, and you don't know who it is for sure, but these Minutemen still go down there, and they still, like a little militia group, kind of protect our border. And we don't know what they do. We don't have any clue what they're doing down there, if they even have, confront anybody down there.
Yeah, it's another. I take it as another sign, like the border needs to be secure, so we don't have to rely on private citizens to have to try and take up the job.
I don't think we have to rely on them. I don't think anybody's relying on them. I
think
that
they take it upon themselves.
Vigilantes.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a need that, like, in other words, like you have a massive number of people are illegally crossing, as we've all acknowledged. There will be people who think to themselves, well, if no one else is going to do it, I'll go do it. And so if you want to avoid that circumstance, then you need to have an effective border.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. You need more border patrol people that are paid better, have more the resources that they need, and policies in place so that we're doing everything legally and not what they're doing or whatever they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah, that to me, what you're laying out there, Vince, is the George Zimmerman mentality. Like, there's crime, so I got to be Batman, and that's a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for taking other people's rights away. That's a really dangerous thing.
It's a sociological point, though. It's like it's a social science point. In other words, if you ignore a problem long enough, whatever that problem is, eventually people are going to take radical steps to address it. And so you don't want that. If you're trying to avoid that, you have to have responsive governance where you actually, make sure you keep crime down in the community, or you keep the border secure, sort of the obvious things that you expect from your government.
Yeah, but a lot of that is people being whipped up. I don't think that there was necessarily, now again, I'm making a different point here from the border, but when we're looking at, and we also know that undocumented people actually commit fewer crimes than native born Americans.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
We do know that. We do.
No, we don't. We know that immigrants.
We absolutely know that. Vince.
Wait a sec.
Let me finish my point.
Let me finish my point. We know that immigrants commit.
I was in the middle of speaking.
We know that immigrants commit fewer crimes than native born Americans.
Absolutely.
That's true. But this idea that we have a carve out for illegals, we don't even know how many illegals are in the country.
Right. That's true. But we do know from all of the studies that have been done, undocumented people, because they want to stay out under the radar, commit fewer crimes. That's just a fact, But anyway, if we're going to go by what law enforcement and what law enforcement finds, somehow if undocumented people are able to escape crime, responsibility for crime in a way, that the rest of Americans are, maybe that's an indictment of law enforcement in America. I don't know. But apparently, based on the statistics that are available, undocumented people commit fewer crimes than native born Americans. Now, having said that, I believe in law enforcement. I do believe that law enforcement should be paid better. I do believe that law enforcement should be trusted to handle these issues. And when you get the George Zimmermans of the world, you get those results, which are terrible for everybody. So, hopefully Americans will, fix some of these problems. And with George Zimmerman, there wasn't really a crime issue in that area. He just decided he wanted to be a vigilante. And I think that that's a dangerous, dangerous thing for all of us.